Hey Jeff,
Yes, Zane.
do you know what today actually is?
It actually is Friday.
That's right, it is Friday.
It's Friday.
And look,
It's second pour.
it's second pour.
And today we're gonna review Old Pepper Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Bottled in bond.
Oh,
That's a B.I.B. baby. It's got a stamp and everything, and we're gonna review it, right?
Yeah, and when are we gonna do this?
Right after this. Welcome to Second Pour. My name is Jeff.
And I'm still Zane.
Thank God. And today we're gonna review a whiskey, because that's what we do on a whiskey channel. We review whiskeys.
That's right, and today I'm pretty stoked. This is Old Pepper.
Old Pepper
Bourbon.
Straight Bourbon Whiskey bottled in bond.
That's right.
It's even got a tax stamp and everything.
And then it's legit.
It's legit, too legit to quit.
Oh my, that's an old reference.
So, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a Old Pepper Distillery bottle and bond. It's 50% ABV, 100 proof. It is undisclosed mash bill, but it's supposedly a blend of 4 different mash bills.
Okay.
It is aged a minimum, of course, of 4 years, according to the federal rules of being bottled in bond. It's distilled by Old Pepper Distillery and runs $56.99. Now, there's an interesting thing on the back, and I'm getting my glasses while I read this.
Do it.
Interesting thing. Now, we did last week
Yes.
the episode on Old Fashions, and we talked about Colonel Pepper, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They talked about Old Colonel on the back of this bottle.
Okay.
And it was there that Colonel Pepper produced his famous high-grade whiskey, which he was a flamboyant promoter. Did you also know that he was one of the major promoters for the Bottle and Bond Act?
I did not know this.
And had already been using a stamp for his bottles to ensure that it hadn't been tampered with. And his stamp was the design that was used for the Bottle and Bond Act stamp.
Well, you learn something new every day.
It's like we're almost doing like a Whiskey Believe It or Not episode
Almost.
on a second pour.
That's crazy.
Facts. Information. Knowledge.
So the old Colonel here, who makes James E. Pepper Distillery whiskey, is behind all this initial thing. So we're basically reviewing history today.
I say we pour that up.
Wow, that was pretty
Wow, that was awesome.
cool. Did you see that? It moved so fast I almost dropped it. Okay, so what are we doing in this thing?
Well, we have a series of things we do. We go through the process. First, we snort the whiskey, discover what those smells are, look at what the distillery has to say about it.
When we say what we say.
Yeah, of course. That gets to get it.
And then we
Then we taste it, tell you what we're tasting, see what the distillery says we should taste. Then we do the same thing with the finish.
we tell you what the finish, we think the finish is, and then we look at what the distillery says the finish should be. And then it's followed by a
5-finger rating system.
But before we get to the rating system, we probably should...
Let's just snort it.
Let's snort this. Wow. All I can say is wow.
It smells great.
Wow. I smell a little bit of corn. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I suspect there's at least one of those mash bill blends is a high corn, so like a 70% corn.
The problem is the more you smell it, the smoother it gets in the nose.
Very sweet.
I need to give it that little...
Very
little
sweet,
thing.
right?
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's always like one of those things that you are going to get that oaky smell.
I get the oak. I don't really feel like the oak is really strong in this. For a 4-year aged whiskey, at least, in a barrel, and sitting there in that rick house, locked in there, not able to escape,
Yeah.
like trapped by the staves of the barrel.
And so it's like, I'm going to say new wood, corn definitely, but maybe like sweet corn.
Yeah, the corn's really kind of tall and bright in that.
Yeah,
So
and
it's really strong.
Yeah, and I would say another, and I hate to put it in there, but
You know what this reminds me
there's
of?
a hint of a malty kind of flavor in there in the smell.
I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to drive second pours to have comparisons at the end. I feel like at some point we're going to start having Patreons where there's a comparison on the end of every whiskey we do, because there's a whiskey right now and you're gonna shit a corn brick
I'm not drinking no damn Mellow Corn.
when
Eat
I
my ass.
have us compare this to another Bottle and Bond whiskey.
Okay, another bottle and bond. But you're not gonna do that with me. It's not Mellow Corn. I'm not drinking Mellow Corn.
Mellow Corn, because this smells just like Mellow Corn.
It does not.
It smells just like.
Well, you better get a new
Corn.
bottle of Mellow Corn because that shit's been in there for.
You guys might go
8
back and
years.
look at some of our other episodes. There was an episode where I told him it smells and tastes just like this, and he's like, "Y'all full," and it doesn't. And then he smelled it and tasted it, and he was like, "Well, it does." Stay tuned on this episode.
And
We
what?
are going to compare it.
No,
But,
we're not.
You know, I write high corn, sweet, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of oak.
Yeah. What do they say?
They say caramel, vanilla,
Blah blah.
complemented by hints of oak and a touch of spice. Pretty,
It's the typical.
pretty basic, right?
Basic notes
Yeah.
that they say they smell.
I will say this does make a really nice old fashioned.
Yeah, it sure as heck did.
Okay, so I want to taste it.
All right, let's go for
I mean,
it.
let's go for it. I feel like the corn really seeps right through the taste too. There's a lot of heavy corn, a lot of oak.
It's got a spice to it on top.
It's not strong though. There is some smoke though. You know that char barrel kind of. There is some char there. It's coming through, almost like that. You know, char grill thing that reminds me of a little bit of char coming from like an Ardbeg, something that's really kind of smoky. It's right there in the front beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you opened your mouth when you're like opening up the grill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not smoky like Scotch smoky.
No. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
it is a strong smoke.
Yeah, I think it's that char.
There is another flavor though. Hang on, I'm gonna try this again.
Yeah. You say Mars Capone, I swear.
No, that's you. You're the whole Mars Capone pig thing. Snickers.
Yeah, I would
There's
definitely
a
go
strong Snickers.
It's a nougat.
Yeah, right? It's like, I feel like you took a bite out of a Snickers.
Yeah, there's definitely the nougat sensation going on there.
It really satisfies you.
It does.
Now, there is a slight peanut,
Yeah, of course.
which I think is part of that
Corn
Snickers
and
thing, the
everything
corn
too,
and
though.
everything
Yeah,
going on
it's
in there.
What do they say we're supposed to be tasting
Oh,
now?
you want to see what they say we're supposed to be
Yeah,
tasting?
let's just see what the amateurs
are
have to
you
say.
curious? The amateurs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rich notes of caramel, vanilla, spices. This one's gonna blow your mind. Malt.
Yeah.
Do you get the malt out of that?
Yeah, I smelled the malt. Yeah, I could totally smell that. That's what I think. You think the corn part is.
No, it's corn, dude. It's corn. Mellow cornish corn.
It's not mellow corn.
It's mellow corn. I swear to Bob, it's mellow corn.
Mellow corn is to ass, as this is to golden.
Nugget.
Mellow corn is like one of your favorite whiskeys.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It's a bottle and bond 4-year aged whiskey for like $20.
Yeah,
It's your favorite. It's
absolutely.
got that neat yellow label.
Boy, oh boy.
You know, I could prove that you love mellow corn. Do you remember this video?
Man, you see how much I love that? I took
I mean,
one
you
for
were
the team.
you were loving it. It was like pouring over your face. You're just like, yeah.
Yeah, that was not a prop either. Let me tell you.
That was not a prop. That wasn't tea, people. That was mellow corn. That's how much this man loves mellow corn.
Woo! Boy, oh boy. I thought, well, the more I pour out all over my face, the less I have to drink of it.
If I remember right, you about choked to death after that shot too, though.
Yeah.
And that was like season 1 of Whiskey Pop. You know what I mean? I feel like this summer, at some point, even though we'll be on break soon,
Yeah.
we should shoot an episode early, like a summer episode.
Like a teaser
Like
episode.
a special episode in the middle of summer of you just enjoying Mellow Corn in the pool.
One more time.
Just at least one more time, just for a good. So, what kind of finish do you get on this?
Well, it's a medium finish, but the thing is like,
It's a corny finish.
oh, oh, he's talking corn, huh? Yeah. Well, no, I feel like it's a medium finish.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that you could pull from it, so you could kind of think about it for a while, but it doesn't just completely disappear on the palate for me.
So, will you see what they say the finish is?
Yeah, let's see.
They say smooth, lingering with a balance of sweet and spicy corn. Okay,
No,
I added the corn
they
on the
say
end of it.
something
Because
else.
this reminds me exactly. I bet you right now, if we blindfolded you, you couldn't tell the difference between this and Mellow Corn.
Well, I don't feel like being blindfolded, but I will say this much. This does have that heavy peanut smell to it.
But I mean, lingering, I don't really feel like it's lingering for me. I feel like it's a medium finish. It's short and sweet, enough to make you want to just take another sip. I think if you were sitting on a back porch on a warm summer day, this is a really tasty, simple whiskey.
I think the lingering is because it does coat your mouth pretty well. But
Now, the spice,
It's
right
there.
up front, smacks you really quick,
yeah,
and then it's over for me.
yeah, it's there.
I mean, if we sat here for 30 seconds, I'd be just ready to grab another drink.
Yeah, and I think that is the part of when we're talking about the finish that is definitely subjective. Because I think long finishes is something that lasts
More than 30 seconds, right?
more than 30 seconds.
Like
So
a minute.
something that
2
can go up
minutes.
to the minute, and you still have
Yeah.
that going on. But a short finish is sub 30 seconds. I think this is a medium finish straight
It's a medium finish. It's not a long finish.
No.
Very short for me. We got to review this.
All right.
5 finger, right?
Yeah.
1 being,
Yeah, it's
2 being,
okay.
3 being,
It's good.
4,
Yes, please.
5.
It's some of the best on the shelf.
Now, we have been very kind
Mm-hmm.
to James E. Pepper Distillery for quite a long time, right?
Yeah, of course.
And this is kind of what I would consider their mid-range whiskey.
I would think so too.
I mean, it's like, I know it's bottle and bond, but this is readily available. It's always on the shelf. Usually you can get your hands on it pretty
Yeah.
easy. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I give it a 3.
Yeah, it's 3.
It's a 3. It's good sipping whiskey.
It's a sipping whiskey, but it is still closer to $60 than it is to $30.
Yeah, it's $56.99, so it's $57. I mean,
So that knocks it down a notch for me.
Yeah.
It needs to be a whole lot more special to get past that 3.
because you can get
For
Mellow
that
Corn
price.
for $19.99.
I mean, that is a case of truism.
Truism.
That's right.
So here's what I think we should do.
No.
I think we should compare this to another bottle and bond. It's 100 proof. I think it's a high corn whiskey just like this. And it would be Mellow Corn.
High corn whiskey. That's straight corn whiskey. This is like bourbon. That's
That's a good-
bullshit.
Okay, smell that. Hang on. Let me.
Oh, smell those beautiful toes.
See, you miss it, don't you?
I
You're
miss
like
it so
wanting
much.
this so bad. It's like yearning for it. Down in your plums. You want this all the way down in your plums.
You know
how bad
how
you
much
want it.
plumage I want. Oh God!
I poured a very. Hang on. I was mean.
You have all
It was just shot out. It's like, sorry.
right.
Okay, so Mellow Corn, right? It is produced by Heaven Hill Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. So it's a Kentucky whiskey. It's on the trail. It's on the trail, Zane.
It is on the trail.
Right? Not too far from Old Pepper Distillery.
Yeah.
So now this is.
Has way more of the sweet corn smell, obviously.
I agree, but man, dude, it is so close.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. This one has the hint of pickle.
So you're saying there's a high rye too?
Like this has pickly smell to it. This one obviously does
I can
not.
see that a little bit.
Especially when you're comparing them
I can
side by
see.
side.
I can see the high rye. So now we know one of those mash bills may be a high rye,
Yeah, for sure.
but
Because this has nothing like that in there. The Mellow Corn does not.
okay, you know what? It's been like years since we dragged this Mellow Corn out.
Let's sip it, dude. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm not gonna lie, Zane. That's way better than I remember.
Well, remember we kind of agreed it wasn't just total ass. It's complete ass.
See, I think what it is you're so afraid to admit something you love. Hang on. Let me. Here we go. Here we go. Mellow corn.
Yeah.
Old pepper.
Spicier. That has no spice. It has the heat. You know, to be fair, it's been open for a long while.
They are equal.
Equal.
Now, is Mellow Corn at 100%? Does that mean if it's straight corn whiskey? What's the requirement for straight corn whiskey? Is it like...
It's bottled and bonded. It has to be 100%.
It's 80% corn. The rest is malted barley and rye. So it's so high of corn, it is 80%. Where I don't think this is 80% corn.
There's no way, though. No.
So, to be fair, Mellow Corn is 80% corn.
Yeah.
Whereas this is... I clearly would... There's no way this is 80%
if I was to
corn.
guess, that's 65 to 70%, though.
I think it's above 70.
I mean, the rest is filled up with rye because I mean, you can smell it, taste it, and hit it.
Well, here's the deal. Since it's 4 mash bills, I think one of the mash bills is a high corn, and I think one of the mash bills is a high rye. This we know is not a high rye because if it's 80% corn, it's impossible to be a high rye. So it is like you could say 10 and 10 at that point, or 12 and 8. You know, something like that.
So you know, like one of the things I get when I do these higher corn content is lots of times it comes off like peanut brittle.
Yeah, I can get that.
Like
that makes sense.
Like the candy.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It kind of even sits on the stomach like that a little bit too.
The funny thing about this Mellow Corn bottle is this is the bottle, Zane. This is the bottle. So from the video from 2020, this is still the bottle from 2020, and we still have just now got today, thanks to doing this comparison, we've gotten down to half the bottle now. But this is still the bottle from those days when we didn't have as much gray hair. So what about you? Have you had Old Pepper Distillery Bottle and Bond? What do you think about it? And have you thought about doing a comparison, like something like simple, like Mellow Corn or another high corn whiskey?
Yeah, I think there's something to the comparison side of things, because it really does open up. Like, until we really got the Mellow Corn here on the table, we were kind of missing that rye that was in the obvious nose of the whiskey. I don't know why we were missing it, but it was so evident after we got the Mellow Corn.
Completely.
So it's kind of a cool way to explore, you know, like the new whiskey by using something that has a definite base note that we know exactly what it is.
And that really, as much fun as we have doing comparisons, the reason why we do those is for that reason. Is for you to be comfortable and feel good about just trying new stuff together. You know, try not to allow those whiskey rules that people create where it's like, you can't do these things, you can't do these things. Just do it.
Yeah.
And maybe because of this hobby of whiskey, and now that we're coming out of the bourbon boom, and you can get your hands on stuff, now is a better time than ever to really play around with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree.
So in the meantime, you guys don't forget to like, share, and
subscribe, and don't forget we have a dong for you to ding.
And because when you ding it, you know when new episodes are coming out, like our Whiskey Pop episodes every Friday, and then every other Friday when we do second pour, like we did with this Old Pepper Distillery.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you guys can be geeky, and we will see you next week for Whiskey Pop.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh God, which one's which?
I don't know. Try them both.